I've looked around YouTube and could never figure out actually how to tune one of these nice things right here, which is a tattoo machine. I'm going to try to give you my best example of how I can teach you how to do this, because nobody else can, and if they do, they're all bullshit and don't teach you nothing. If I'm not per se the best answer, you can go and tell me I'm wrong and blah blah blah, and it won't hurt my damn feelings not one bit. I'm a scratcher at the house. I've never been apprenticed, and this is the best way I can teach you how to do it. I'm going to start off with this armature bar right here. On the back, you do have to have your rear main spring. It does have to have a slight bend in it, and you want it to where the front of the armature bar and the front core will give you about a 4mm gap with nothing attached, just the rear spring and the front armature bar. So when this is hooked up to the machine, you want it about 4mm from the front coil. Like this one's not set up like that, but you have to do that. After that's done, you put your front spring on and give it about a 15 to about 35 degrees, and that'll be about a perfect angle of deflection off your contact spring. Alright, now that you've done that, then you want to adjust your throw from your, the easiest way to do that is you're going to use the contact spring, the contact screw at the top, your armature bar from the coil. First, set your armature bar from the coils for lining about 2.5mm, which is, I like to say, a little bit thicker than a dime, and most people say about the thickness of a dime is what you use, but I say a little bit thicker just to give you a little more depth with your lines, get your lining a little better. Set the depth from your coil to your armature bar at 2.5mm, and then get your contact spring till it goes down about 2.5mm from the contact spring to the front of the front contact spring. Contact screw to contact spring, it should be about 2.5mm as well. Other than that, you just make sure it sounds right, and I got this one hooked up. And you should actually use a needle when you're running your machines to get a more accurate reading, but right now I'm not. And a liner, I've seen liners. I've had actually this liner right there actually runs at about 5 volts and does the same work as this one does. But right now the readings on this one running, it's at 7.6 volts. The duty's anywhere from 45 to 50%, and the cycles per second to get around 137, 140, which that's really good, and you want your average machine to do that. Duty should be around 45 to 55%, and cycles per second should be around 120 to 160 for a liner. That's a good starting point. The voltage really doesn't matter as long as your machine's doing what it should. I'm going to put this one down, and I'm going to show you this one, which is actually set up as a shader. The difference from a shader is, I mean, there's all sorts of difference, and you need to set your machine to your likings. But for me, on a shader, I like about 3 to 4mm of throw on my armature bar from my contact, and on the front, the same thing. But you can have a little less because you want your spring to actually do some of the work. Because you have a light spring on a shader, so you actually want the spring to do a little bit of work. So you want to have a little bit of bend in it. So, you know, you want to be able to flex it down a little bit. So pretty much, I'm going to put my camera down right fast. I'm going to hook this one up to the machine. I'm going to let this one run. Alright, I got this one all hooked up. And I really don't know what this one runs at. Now see, that is a little bit loud. And you actually want to, you're going to tune it down. I'm at 6.4 volts now. That's still a little too much. We got a 5 volt. That's sounding a little better for a shader. And this is without a needle, so this is at 4.6 volts. You want it to be soft, and when you hit the tip, you want it to be able to die down a little bit. You hear what I'm saying? You hear how it dies down a little bit? Now this one has a light armature bar on it because I do light shading with this one. But you see, the duty on this is, you know, you want your strictly to stay between 45 to 55 on duty. Cycles per second for a shader, you can get as low as 80 and get up to about 130, but I'd stay away from anything higher than that on a shader. And that's pretty much how you set up a tattoo machine. If you got any questions, I'm going to probably try to post a few more videos on tattoos and stuff, but this is my first one. If you like it, just let me know. Alright, y'all have a nice day.